Man, been a big fan of yours for a while, ever since your days back at UT, even actually going before that to Angleton. Obviously, your older brother taking his reins from there, and also a coach that I used to have in Emmett Thomas. He's from Angleton as well. So I'll go ahead and hop right in from that standpoint. You having an older brother, Quinn Jammer, somebody that I played against for many years while he was a San Diego Charger, and also somebody who went to both alma maters that you went to. What have the benefits been like for having somebody who has paved the way and somebody to actually go ahead and kind of give you a little bit of guidance and advice on certain pitfalls that you may come along the way of going into the league and becoming a star the way that you have?
I mean, it's dope. I think it's definitely paid off a lot. And I mean, it just didn't start in the NFL. I mean, it started since Little League football when having dreams and aspirations to make it to the highest level. And I remember, man, literally taking off a whole year of Little League football just to go support my brother's senior year in college, just because I wanted to be around the atmosphere. I
Mhm.
wanted to be able to soak all that in where I can go to games every week. And I knew he was going to be leaving and going to the draft the next year. So for me, I made it my responsibility to try to soak in as much as I can, to be around those great players, the Nathan Bashers, you know what I
Yeah.
mean, the Deshaun Rogers, the freaking Corey Reddens and Derek Johnson. I wanted to be around all those guys. So I knew how those guys moved and how those guys worked. So that's helped me in my career. And the advice my brother gives me when I'm down, when I'm looking forward to some, or when I know I need to play better, or I think I had a good game, but then I can go after the game and call him and ask him what he thinks, and he just keeps it real. It's priceless, honestly. And
Mhm.
I mean, to this day, he's still my biggest role model. And old as he is, I mean, he's still swole and cut, and
Oh, yeah.
you know what I mean. So he's all that. So I mean, I'm never gonna buck or get out of my place with him. So I mean, we just have a relationship where it's like I'm the more brutally honest one, and he's more the quiet, chill guy. Where our personalities mesh, but we're so much alike.
Back then, I believe, let me see. He came out in, I believe it was 2002. I think it
Yeah.
was right after my rookie year in college. High draft pick. Obviously, we all remember Quentin Jammer. He was a stud at UT, great player for the San Diego Chargers for so many years. Him coming in as an early round pick, top five overall, I believe,
Yep.
and you being a later round pick.
Mhm.
What is the dichotomy in your experiences of the guys that come in as first round picks, top 15 overall, things like that, and you and your journey, whereas you came in as a later round pick, but obviously now being one of the top safeties in the league. But talk about that early going, the obstacles, the pitfalls, things like that, the dichotomy and the difference between early round and late round guys.
Yeah, man. I could take it back all the way to the draft. I remember the draft, and my brother was down for the weekend. Him, his wife, they were down, of course, to honor and celebrate me. It was my time. I had been there with him, went to the draft in New York, and we were having just family time. And I kind of had an idea I wasn't gonna get drafted the first 2 days. You know what I mean? Um, a lot of different things, and I think a lot of BS went into that. But that's a whole nother story. But
Yeah.
uh, that third day, I remember getting a call from the team, and they were like, "Hey, we're gonna draft you with our fourth round pick." And I just remember this team passing over me, and I just kind of went in like a little funk. You know what I mean? It was like, dang. And I just remember my brother being right there, like, "Hey, bro, like, don't worry about that. Like, your time gonna come, the opportunity gonna be right. All you gotta do is get your foot in the door." That's exactly what he told me. Like, get your foot in the door. And I remember getting these calls, fourth round, fifth round, then sixth round, like a number came. I'm like, what number is this? You know what I mean? Like, hey, bro. And I got on the phone. It was freaking Martin Mayhew and Tom Lewan in Detroit, and it was just like, "Hey, we want you to be, we want you to be a Detroit Lion." I remember Coach Caldwell getting on the phone. I remember Terrell Austin getting on the phone, and then I remember Tony Oden, which is my guy to this day, uh, corners coach at the Jets now. I remember T.O. getting on the phone, and we've had multiple conversations before the draft. So like I knew him, I was comfortable, to kind of express my feelings to him. And I remember him getting on the phone. He like, "Congrats." And I'm like, appreciate it, coach, but I'm telling you right now, I got something to prove. I'm like, y'all playing me, everybody playing me. You know what I mean? I'm finna make everybody feel me. And me and him talk about this story to this day. He was like, I never forget how mad you was, bro, when we drafted you. I'm like, this the best day of your life, and you mad. I'm like, yeah, but like, I felt like it was a bunch of guys before me, taken before me, that's out the league that should not have the opportunity to go before me. So that's just a chip that I carried on my shoulder. But I still remember my brother coming in after I got off the phone with the media and all that. And I was just like, your foot in the door, now go kick it in. And I mean, being a 6th-round draft pick and him being a 5th-round draft pick, for him to be able to relate to me and relate to my situation, still be happy for me that I went 195 picks after him, but him still been able to relate to my happiness. I mean, relate to me on like the chip on my shoulder. He understood it. He knew that's how I was built, and he embraced it. And he was just like, just go kick the door in. And we have these conversations all the time where it's like, I mean, I went from nickel to safety.
Mm-hmm.
And I went from being one of the better nickels in the game. I was playing at a high level at nickel and went to safety. And I've done the same thing. You know what I mean? I've always had to prove myself over and over again. Like, so, I mean, it's different. You know what I mean? When you're a 6th-round draft pick and your brother's a 1st-round draft pick, I mean, he usually won't see it out of your lenses. But like for him, he saw it out of my lenses. And that even brought us closer together. And throughout that rookie year, it was tough, but I mean, he was right there in my corner the whole time, cheering me on, happy for my success. And I mean, the rest is really history. Like me and this dude talk every day. So, you know, I mean, nothing can come between us two.
I like that. For me, being a high second round draft pick, number 38 overall, I kind of see it from both angles. What you just said from your intricate standpoint and your older brother Quentin, because me going to Oakland back in 2005, yeah, I was a high second round pick, but I was also the second corner that we took that year. And here I am walking in the door. You got Charles Woodson, you got Nnamdi Asomugha, who are both the starters. And then my second year, we bought in Tyrone Poole and we bought in Dwayne Starks, two guys that actually won Super Bowls with the Patriots and the Ravens. They were previous 1st-round picks as well. So here we are, my second year in the league. I'm playing pretty much every play in the preseason, things like that. And I'm the lowest drafted corner in the cornerbacks room, and I was a high second-round pick. So I definitely understand how how you enter this league plays such a big part on how people treat you, how they talk to you, the amount of chances that you get to make a mistake on the football field before they go ahead and wash their hands with you, things like that. So I definitely understand what you're saying. You have any stories, any experiences, anything that off the top of your head that you can remember that you went through, whether it was extra rookie hazing, whether it was you not having as long of a leash as the other guys do on the team, maybe from even other positions that were drafted higher, things like that?
I wouldn't say that. I mean, Coach Caldwell ran a fair opportunity system. I mean, I'll say this and I'll say this to the death of me. Me going round 6, pick 200 to Detroit, the best thing that ever happened to me. It's the best thing for me because it humbled me. It put me in a situation where I knew I couldn't be comfortable. So I had to grind to get myself out of that predicament. It taught me how to work differently. I mean, it taught me also like any type of adversity that I have, I can get through that. You know what I mean? So it's helped me so much, you know what I mean? Because it's still that chip there for me. And like you say, I was a second corner drafted. We had a guy drafted in the 3rd round, and that was the corner, and he was coming in, and it was me, of course, the 6th-rounder. And I mean, I didn't have a short leash, you know what I mean? I was one of the guys that Tony Oden, Terrell Austin, Allen Williams, they trusted me. They knew I was a smart guy. They knew like, okay, if he made mistakes, if I tell him one time, he ain't gonna mess it up again. So like I didn't have a short leash. I will say TA was a little bit more. Terrell Austin, our D coordinator, was I probably was the guy he got on the most out of the group because he probably seen the most out of me. You know what I mean? So me and TA, we still talk. I mean, my rookie year was tough. It was like, hey, bro, like you doing a little too much. You know what I mean? But I mean, it was the best thing for me. I don't have any stories off the top. I mean, I had great vets also, man. I had Rasheem Mathis.
Mhm.
Glover Quinn, James Aheadabo, Josh Wilson, Slay, Issa Abdul Karis. I had all those guys, so like they were in my corner. So it was like for me, it was no way that I could lose. That's why I said it was the perfect opportunity for me. I'll tell you a story real quick. First preseason game, and this is how I knew I had earned the respect of the guys on the team. First preseason game, I think I was like second string gunner, and go out there. I'm the right gunner, and I just remember lining up at gunner, getting in my stance, and all I hear from the sideline was, "Go make a play, Diggs." And I kind of looked to the right and see who it was, and it was Calvin. And
Oh,
I'm like, Calvin Johnson know I'm making plays, then you know what I mean? Like, I think I've been proving myself on who I could be. And I
yeah.
went out there, made the tackle I made the tackle at that gunner rep. And I remember Calvin coming to the sideline, dapping me up and just like keep making plays, bro. Like, that's how you know what I mean? Stafford would always talk about me in the media. So it was like for me, it was like, okay, I am good enough to play in this league. I am good enough to be a starter. I am good enough to be a baller. So I mean, for me, my confidence never was shaking. I mean, it was always scary come cut time because you like, I'm a 6th-round pick. They gave me $125,000 signing bonus. That ain't nothing. That's a drop in the bucket for them. Like, so I mean, that was the only thing. But my confidence was never shaken. I always knew like I had the talent and the heart and I ain't had the measurables and all that, but everything else I had.
Speaking of adversity, you come in playing corner, playing nickel, your days at UT. You come in as a nickel. You then move your way to safety, now starting at safety. Detroit always seems like kind of up and down, a whole lot of turbulence throughout that franchise. And then bam, you're now traded to Seattle, a team that's always playing on TV, big money games, things like that. What's the culture difference been like from coming up throughout the Detroit system and now being in Seattle for 2 seasons?
I mean, I would say my first 3 years in the league with Coach Caldwell were very similar to the culture that we have in Seattle. Now we didn't win as much. But we also wasn't terrible. I mean, we were 7-9, 9-7, 9-7 my 3 years in. So it wasn't like we were terrible. I mean, so the culture was very similar where Coach Caldwell was loose, let you have fun. You know what I mean? Do your thing. You a man. I'm not gonna give you many rules. You know what I mean? I don't give you many rules. Don't be late. Don't get in trouble. That's all I say. And you handle your business like a man. So I think that's kind of the same. Um, that's just kind of the same thing as Pete. Pete is the same way. Now, I will say our culture is a little different. We shoot basketball in meetings. We joke around in meetings. You know what I mean? We watching movie clips in meetings. It's a whole different vibe. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And that's the thing with him. But as far as coaches, those guys are very like hands-on coaches, but like very hands-off coaches. So they let you be men, they let you grow. I would say my year and a half with Patricia was a 180 of that. You know what I mean? It is not the bad mouth him, anything. All that's over. I mean, that's over. That's behind me. But like with Patricia, I think he came in trying to instill his culture, but also tearing down Coach Caldwell's culture where he already had a good culture. You know what I mean? We wasn't winning 10, 11 games, but we were close. You know what I mean? It was that last year with Coach Caldwell. I mean, I can name you 2 games where we should have won and we lost in the last second. Well, we would have been 11-5.
Uh-huh.
So I just think like you come in and you saying 9-7 ain't good enough. 9-7 ain't good enough. 9-7 ain't good enough. And then you blasting Coach Caldwell. I mean, this guy, I mean, you guys loved him because he was like your grandpa. And, you know what I mean? So like all the guys that had the love for Coach Caldwell and the respect for Coach Caldwell, you were going against him and that was turning us against you.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Because all of y'all are Caldwell guys.
Yes, you know what I mean? So it also came in, you running hills, you doing conditioning. Okay, that's cool. You know what I mean? That's cool if we're winning. It didn't translate to winning. We lost more games my first year with Patricia than I had lost with Caldwell. You know what I mean? We were like 6-10 or something like that. I've never had lost 10 games in the NFL. So like you coming in, you saying this culture is so great, but like it's not translating. You know what I mean? So I mean, everything with Patricia was just like, I'm I'm the patrol. You guys fall in line with what I say. I'm not gonna treat you like men either. I mean, you're gonna have this rule, you're gonna have that rule. You can't do this. You can't have fun. You can't run to the end zone and celebrate with the cameras. You know, like the whole little thing that
Mhm.
guys are doing now. Like you can't do that. I mean, you got on the plane. You got to do this. Like it's just all these rules come in when it's like, okay, bro, I already left college. You know what I mean? Like I went through college already. So let me be a man and let me enjoy my fruits of labor that I put in the work to go do. You know what I mean? So I think that had a lot to do with it. He came in this whole bad cop role, and I think it rubbed a lot of guys the wrong way. But I mean, I'm appreciative of him because he's taught me the other side of football. He taught me, you know what I mean? He taught me that every system is not the same. And my vets with Cowboys used to tell me that, like, enjoy this time because it's not like that everywhere. And I
Mhm.
respect that. And I respect Bob Quinn for giving me my second deal. I never have anything to say bad about Bob Quinn because he gave me my second deal. He believed in me. I was one of his guys. And I think it was a coach's decision to trade me.
Yeah, I think you hit it right on the head. It's so interesting how different head coaches that come in, like you just said, Patricia versus Caldwell or versus a Pete Carroll. I think culture plays a big part in winning and just being successful of just the mindset. And clearly you can see that Patricia dropped the ball. We can look at UCLA last night beating Michigan and
Right.
how even though UCLA wasn't that good all throughout the regular season and even the Pac-12 tournament, because of just that tradition of UCLA being real good in basketball all the way to the 50s, 40s, this that, and the other. I mean, John Wooden, like that's the number one college basketball player of the year award is the John Wooden Award.
Right.
So I think culture plays such a big part. And that actually leads me to my next point. You're starting in Detroit. You just said it was a coach's decision. You didn't necessarily gel with the mindset of a Matt Patricia.
Mm-hmm.
You then now go to Seattle. Boom. I still remember that Sunday night game, NBC, the Los Angeles Rams.
Right.
You playing free safety, picking off Jared Goff the way you did. I remember that distinctly. And you make the Pro Bowl that year, 2019. 2020, bam, Pro Bowl starter. What do you think? And maybe it may not have anything to do with it. You going to Seattle, what impact do you think that that had on you going from good starter and now elite level? Or do you think that's just the natural maturation process that you went through as a player? It would have happened with any team that you were on.
Um, I will say it's a little bit of both, because I think it is my natural maturation process. I mean, every year that I've played safety, I've been affiliated with some type of Pro Bowl alternate, Pro Bowl starter. You know what I mean? So like,
Mhm.
I've been a safety for 3 years, and I've been affiliated with the Pro Bowl every year. So the respect around the league is there. You know what I mean? You get yourself to a team like Seattle that's winning Sunday night games, Monday night games, Thursday night games. You always on TV. So now you get that exposure. You
Mhm.
playing with great players. You got the Russell Wilsons, the Tyler Lockett's, the DK Metcalf, the Bobby Wagners, the KJ Rice, the Jamal Adams. So now guys are watching them and bam, 37 on the film. God dang, he balling. You know what I mean? Like, dang, he balling. Like, it ain't just, you know what I mean? It's not like, oh, there's just some throw-in guy. Like, okay,
Mhm.
37 making plays too. You know what I mean? Oh, he's getting picks. Oh, he's setting career high pass breakup. Oh, career high picks. He's making the big hits. He's making the sure tackle. So I think it's a little bit of both. You know what I mean? I think I've matured to I'm playing my natural position. I'm a safety. I was a quarterback in high school, so I'm my intellect with the game is I think is top of the line. You know what I mean? I would say my intellect is like one of the best in the league. So now I'm just free. Pete's giving me the opportunity to roam. He's giving me the opportunity just to have one or two assignments where it's like, okay, no seams, no post, run downhill, blow some stuff up. You know what I mean? That's my type of game. You know what I mean? I can read offenses. I can look and I ain't got to worry about nothing. I got number 54 in front of me.
Uh-huh.
I got number 50 in front of me. And then I got a maniac in 33 beside me. So like my job is like, don't let nothing get deep and then just go do what you do. You know what I mean? So I think that's definitely had something to do with it. I think the culture has had something to do with it because my coaches trust me, they believe me, they know, okay, we tell him to do something, he's gonna do it. He knows the defense, he lines guys up. I mean, Pete lets me be myself. He lets me talk my trash around the facility, let me play basketball in meetings. You know what I mean? So like that type of stuff, it works for me because that's how I grew up. I grew up having fun with the game. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Enjoying the game. Like, oh, it's not work. This is a game. Like, you know
Yes.
what I mean? It's the details. Focus on the details. Like, details is a big thing in Seattle. The way we walk through, the way we practice, that's perfect for me. You know what I mean? So I think it's a little bit of both, man. I've matured. I've learned how to work. I've learned how to watch film. I've learned what safeties to watch, what safeties not to watch. And I also think a third part was that is my mentor, besides my brother, is Glover Quinn, one of the most underrated free safeties to play the game this last decade.
Yep.
And I can text him, I can call him, I can FaceTime him. I've learned so much from him when I was in Detroit that it's like, okay, well, GQ thought like this, so GQ thought like this. That's probably the right way to think as a post safety. You know what I mean? I remember texting GQ in training camp last year and was like, I mean, I'm going against Russ every day. Russ ain't gonna throw picks to me just in practice like how they do in the game. So I'm like a GQ. I'm like, bro, I'm bored at practice, bro. Like I ain't doing nothing but freaking picking dandelions in the middle of the field, bro. I ain't doing that. And he like, bro, it get like that. He's like, but what I will say, what I used to do at practice was work on my angles, work on my angles, work on my angles, work on my angles, hit breaking up the slant, work on my angles, breaking up the dig, my tackling angles, all that. So I'm like, well, if that's how GQ thought, and I know that's all he did was sit in the post too, and that's how I should think. And that's exactly what I did for the rest of camp. Work on my angles, work on my angles. And for me, I think it played off. And last year, I didn't give up not one big play that was on me
My
because
man.
my angles were great. Slants, blow them up. Digs, blow them up. You know what I mean? So that definitely helped my transition and my maturation process because then I learned these angles at safety because I didn't have to learn them at corner and nickel. And now you learn these things and it makes the game so much easier. You erase big plays in my defense and that's a win for the post safety. Like they just want you to get the guy down. Cool,
Absolutely.
I can do that. Like
Speaking of you going against Russ in practice, how he's not going to throw no picks and how you're just back there picking dandelions. What's up with y'all and Russell Wilson right now? I know that you play on the defense side of the ball. I get it. You're not a part of the front office. Definitely understand that. But just what's going on? Because me from afar, it seemed like everything was all good just not long ago. And then season ends. The Packers are playing the Rams. They're playing the Bucks in the NFC title game. Kansas City loses to Tampa Bay in the Super Bowl. And then it just seems like everything just starts. It's like a snowball effect. What the hell is going on?
what's crazy is like I just mentioned, my maturation process. I think this is Russ's maturation process. You know what I mean? I think everybody has seen him be the go Hawks go guy,
Yeah.
like happy go lucky. You know what I mean? Everything is okay. We'll get it handled. I think this is Russ's time where he's like, okay, I'm 32 years old. It's time for me to get kind of selfish about like what I need to do. So I think he went out, let him know, like, hey, I want a couple more O linemen. I'm not saying we're terrible, but I'm tired of getting hit, which I can understand. I think it could have been said differently. I think Russ agrees that. But I would never say, but you guys know, Seattle is the culture where players say what they want to say and
Yes.
do what they want to do. So like, why are guys blowing it up like this is something new? Like, okay, like you had Sherm, you had Earl, you had
Mhm.
Michael Bennett, you had Cliff Averill. All those guys say what they want to say. So why can't Russ? But I think this just his maturation process where he knows he's one of the best in the game. Um, he wants to be one of the best ever. And I think for him, it could have been said differently, but I think it's just him using his voice now. And I can't do nothing but respect him for that because like you always hear people say, well, why do you guys just don't say nothing about it? Like we ask you guys these questions in the media, but you don't say anything, and then it just blows up. Well, then when we do say something, then guys take it the wrong way and like, oh, he's just a selfish guy. Like he's just another selfish player that makes all his money. And you know what I mean? So
Yep.
for me, I just think it's Russ's maturation process of him going from, okay, I was a quarterback game manager. I become one of the best in the league. I become now my Hall of Fame credentials. I want them to be what I want them to be, which
Yep.
is win another Super Bowl. You know what I mean? Lead my team, get an MVP award. Nothing wrong for him to have those goals. Like who doesn't have those goals? If you want to be a great player, you have those goals.
Mm-hmm.
Hell, I make goals every year. I want to be all pro. I want to be a Pro Bowl. I want, you know what I mean? So why can't Russ make those goals and be like, I want to win another Super Bowl, and I think we need to get some more alignment. I want a couple more weapons, and he wants playmakers. Like that's what it is. Like I don't see nothing wrong with it. I mean, it could have came off differently, and I think Russ knows that. But I think as of now, I mean, we're all good. I mean, it's what can you say when you go back in the locker room? Like, what you gonna do? Like, get in the argument with Russell Wilson? Like, your ass will be out of there so fast. You know what I mean? Like, you know how I do, man.
No.
So, I mean, I think he's good. I just talked to him yesterday. You know what I mean? And the conversation was good. And I mean, I think we flipped the page. I mean, as you guys see, Tyler Lockett got his extension and Russell's on the phone. Congratulations.
Good for him.
Yeah. So, you know what I mean? I think it's water under the bridge. And I think people will continue to try to freaking make it a deal. We lose a couple games. Everybody's is Russ want to get out of there. You know what I mean? So it's going to be the typical media storm.
I love how you keep it real. I don't have any problem with Russ keeping it real as well. Like you just said, he's being a grown man. He's going to say what's on his mind. So I'll go ahead and I'll segue into this as far as keeping it real. And it's really a two-part question. Mm-hmm. Number one, does the NFL really care about mental health and illness? Number one. Number two, tell me your thoughts on the new 17-game season.
Number one, no. They don't care about mental health. They don't care about your brain.
I agree.
They care about the politics that surround it. They care about what people are saying outside of the game. They worry about running kids away from playing the game of football, because if you don't have kids playing football, you don't have no NFL. Mm-hmm. So I think that's the main thing. I think you can tell they don't care about us just by the CBA negotiations. You see it with COVID-19 last year. They didn't want to pay for our testing. You know what I mean? So it's things that show you each and every year or each and every day as you get older in this league to show you that they don't really give a damn about us. Like, did the salary cap really have to drop this year? Could have took that loss? They could have took that loss, put it in their pocket, and kept the salary cap the same. But they don't mess with us like that. Like, they're the business owners and we're the employees, and that's how they look at us. You know what I mean? It's not an even playing field like how the NBA and how the NBA is. You know what I mean? So, no, they don't care about us. I mean, the politics is what scares them the most, and kids and parents and things like that. Secondly, no, I don't agree with the 17-game schedule. I think first of all, players' bodies by game 16 are beat. You know what I mean? You get to the playoffs and you just doing it through pure willpower. You know what I mean? Like, I remember when I got traded from Detroit, I'm like, bro, I ain't never played more than 16 games. So like, I'm hurting when it's playoff time. You know what I mean? So I think it was a money grab, which it was. I mean, I think we sold ourselves off to smoke a little weed. You know what I mean? That's what the big concession was. It was like, okay, we take a 17th game, we'll let you smoke weed, and we'll give you a little piece of the pie, a media kicker. Yeah. When really, I think we got 47% or something like that. And the kicker makes it go up to 47.5 or something like that. I mean, if that's the case, if they were willing to give you 47.5 from the jump, why didn't we get 47.5 or 48 from the jump and then add the 17 game and make it 49% or something like that? You know what I mean? Instead of being able to smoke a little weed and, you know what I mean, get a 0.5 media kicker when this game is going to produce so much more money than that. Second part of that is they tried to give us like a $50,000 stipend to play a 17 game. That tell you enough about how they feel about us right there. Like, you can't even guarantee me my whole salary for a 17 game. You think you'll give me a $50,000 stipend when every week my check come in and I'm making freaking $200,000-$300,000 a week. Like, hell no, that ain't gonna pass. So no, I don't agree with it. I think we got bamboozled, and I think the whole CBA was BS from the jump.
Man, I think well, actually, I remember way back when I was maybe a rookie. I remember one of the older vets. Matter of fact, no, he wasn't even a vet. He was actually part of the front office, but he was a former player. And he told me, he said, "Route," he said, "the only day of the week that this is not that this is a game is on Sundays. Every other day of the week, it's a business. So whether it is Sunday after fans go out and go to church, then come home Sunday afternoon, watch you play on Fox. For them right there, it's a game. But for us, everything leading up to kickoff and then right after that final buzzer, it's a business any other time. And I think that whenever you see moments like this, that's when it really peels back those layers and it shows people it truly is a business. Because I'm of the mindset, anybody who signed a contract prior to this off season, you need to go ahead and have your contract or your salary for that season prorated, since now it was based on 16 games if you signed a deal in 2019 or 2020 or whatever. Now it needs to be prorated and it needs to be adjusted to add that 17 game. Not no goddamn $50,000 stipend. Like, no, every piece or every weekly salary that needs to be the same for that 17th game, or else I don't think that's fair to the players. And I'm right there with you that clearly it's a business. Clearly they don't care, and they just threw that out there, like you just said, basically trading that for the ability to be able to smoke marijuana.
Right, and I think they got it right. I mean, yeah, I didn't want to do 17 games, but okay, got 17 game. I get my full salary for the 17th game, but I still think we could have got more out of the CBA.
Mm-hmm.
That's just me personally. I think we could have got better health care for the older guys, yourself, my brother, you know what I mean, guys before me. You know what I mean? So I think we could have done that too. But I mean, when you have a lot of guys that, I won't say not business savvy, but you don't have a lot of guys that really pay attention to that stuff. I remember having teammates like last year, like, man, can I take my vote back? I didn't even realize that they were going to do this. Like, no, bro, you should have been paying attention for this for the last 2 years and last 3 years, whatever. I remember coming out for the draft, me, Tyler Lockett, Landon Collins, Quinn Rollins, Trey Waynes, all of us having like conversations on like, hey, we need to save our cash because like they probably gonna lock out. Like we don't know. We was like, we probably gonna have our second deal, or we'll be set, or we'll be good. But like they probably gonna lock out. So we need to make sure we keep that cash. But like me and Tyler, we always like talked about it. You know what I mean? Even before I got traded to Seattle, we would always talk about like, hey, like it's probably gonna be a lockout, bro. Like we need to do this. And we would talk every day last year about the CBA, what we did like, what we didn't like. KJ would get in on it, Bobby would get in, Russ would get in on it. And like we would just have full-blown conversation. That's what I love about Seattle. It's a lot of business-minded people there that's like, okay, you got Bobby investing all these things. You got Russ investing in things. You got KJ that love to talk business. You got Tyler that likes to talk business. You see DK dipping his toe into it. So like now I've learned so much from those guys where like, okay, well, I really need to dig into this stuff too. So, I mean, I dug into the CBA. I dug into the CBA prior to that one. Like, and me and KJ were just having conversations back and forth. And I mean, when you don't have every guy doing that and all they care about, okay, well, I get to play the game, I get to smoke weed, and I get to do my thing. Like, that's all I care about. When you don't care about the business part, that's when you get ran over. And I think that's kind of what we've done. We've got ran over by the owners.
No question about that. Couldn't agree more. Transferring over to another topic, how do you deal with hecklers? Because obviously social media, fans, you go into a opposing team's arena, things like that. How do you handle the naysayers, the people that want to talk trash to you? Maybe it's somebody from Angleton that you went to high school with and wants to go and say, man, you're overrated, it's a safety, or you missed that play in the playoff game or whatever. How do you handle the people that want to come at you sideways, the hecklers that want to bring smoke?
I mean, everybody gonna say, oh, I don't pay no attention to it. I don't, you know what I mean? Everybody, that's the generic answer. I mean, but we all see it,
Yeah.
hear it, we feel it. But like for me, I mean, it's cool. Like you do what you do. Like, but don't be surprised if I get on Twitter and I come back at you a little bit. You know what I mean? Or I get back on Instagram and I come at you. Like, I don't really like me. That's my personality. My brother's totally different. I'm more the guy where like I'm gonna say what's on my mind. So if I feel like you disrespecting me, I'm gonna go back at you. But at the same time, that also fuels me. Like it fuels my fire. And when people say crazy stuff like, "Oh, bro, you know what I mean? In Detroit, we better without you," or whatever. You know what I mean? And it's not just Detroit fans; it's just people trying to get
Yeah.
clickbaits and stuff like that. But I remember like in the middle of the year, and there's no disrespect to Deron Harmon, but like fans would be like, "Ah, I'm glad we traded you. We got Deron Harmon. He's better anyways." You know what I mean? Like, but like, what are you trying to start? Are you trying to start a beef between me and
Yeah.
Deron, or you want attention? Like, I know Deron because we got mutual friends, and I got a lot of respect for him. But like, don't try to start something and want me to come on there and say, "Oh, nah, you tripping. I'm better than him." Blah blah. Like, no, bro, I'm not gonna give you that. But I am gonna put you in your place and let you know that, like, yo, bro, like you disrespecting me because I think, and in my mind, I'm the best free safety in the NFL. That's just how I think. So when you going against what I believe in, so you disrespecting me, and that's no disrespect to Deron. He knows that, but it's just like fans can be so wishy-washy, and I've seen it throughout my brother's career. I remember when he was with the Chargers and he would get a pass interference and the fans would start yelling out, Lido, Lido, Lido. You know what I mean? Like on Lido Shepherd, it's just like, yo, like y'all were just praising him when he was y'all fifth pick. You were just praising him a couple of weeks ago when he was locking guys up, and then he give up a big play or get a pass interference, and y'all start yelling Lido. And y'all
Like the
say,
DB.
yeah, you know what I mean? Like, just because he don't have the picks and stuff like that, you know what I mean? I seen fans like, oh, he don't make plays on the ball, blah, blah. Like, but like you don't gotta have picks to be a great corner. Like
Nope.
you don't got to. You could be a great corner and not have the numbers. Like Jalen Ramsey don't have the picks. But guess what? He taking that side of the field away where you don't want to go at him. You know what I mean? But I think the game has changed now where like, okay, I understand, like, you don't gotta get picks. If your name quiet all day, that means you having a good day. You know what I mean? So I grew up like hearing that. I mean, I grew up hearing like, oh, bro, like you only getting that recognition because who your brother is, or like the coach is only playing you because who your brother is. Like, so I grew up with that. So for me, all that little meddling stuff that they be doing on Twitter, I mean, I see it, but it doesn't bother me to an extent where like I'm triggered by it.
Man, I'm pretty much kind of the same way as you. And I hate how, as a player, as an athlete, hell, even as a former player, how fans like to attack you. But if you go and you say anything back to them, like it's completely like it's outrageous. You shouldn't have done that. You should be better than that. This, that, and the other. And the way I see it is, hey man, listen, if you man enough to come and bring me smoke, then you know what? You man enough to go ahead and receive it right back from me. I'm not going to sit up here and bite my tongue because, oh, I got to be the role model. I got to be the bigger person. I got it, man, whatever. Like you come at me sideways, I'm going to come back at you sideways. You come at me with respect, I'll come at you with respect. Your opinion is your opinion. But if you're going to present it to me in a disrespectful way, then I'm going to give you my opinion and present it right back to you in a disrespectful way. So, man, I'm right there with you on that. Another thing I want to ask you. Why are we wired like this? Because I'm pretty sure that you've come across this before, because I know I have. Why do we as men, not all, but a strong number, that do not make it to the big show, don't make it to the NBA, Major League Baseball, soccer, football, all that? And it's because we either got hurt or the coach didn't like us. Why are we like that as men? I feel like you kind of understand what I'm saying.
Oh yeah.
Like, why are we like that as men rather than just admitting what it is? I wasn't good enough and I can't play in that league.
It's an ego trip.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's an ego trip. Like your ego as a man is to for your significant other, for your kids, for whoever's around you, is to be the big bad wolf. Like,
Yeah.
That was supposed to be me out there playing, man. And my dang back went out. You know what I mean? But it sounds good to your significant other or them because they don't know any better. You know what I mean? But like when you go bring that to your friends, they're like, nah, bro, you couldn't have played at that level. You wasn't like that. You know what I mean? But I think that's that whole ego trip where I'm the man, I'm the big bad wolf.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta make myself sound better than what I really was. You know what I mean? And I think you see that from regular people, and you see that from some people, and you can attest to this probably because you see it. You see it from people in the media that were former players that were like, they were good. Don't get me wrong, they were good players. But now it's their chance to boost their ego even more. Like,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
these guys, guys from 2010 are so much softer than guys in the 1980s. And the reason that their numbers are inflated is because the game has changed. They made it soft. You know what I mean? You hear it so much. It's just like, dude, you were great. Give these other guys their roses. Let those guys be great also. Like, don't be the guy that's hating on the younger generation. Like, for me, anybody can go to my Twitter right now and I show love to everybody. You know what I mean? Like, I'm never gonna be that guy when I get older. Like, them boys suck. Like, they weak. Like, they wasn't doing nothing that I was doing. You know what I mean? That'd never be me. I just don't have that in my heart. But I also see guys like Allen Iverson, Dwayne Wade, that's showing these young guys, giving them props, showing them love, being the OG. Hey, if you need anything, get at me. You know what I mean? So like that's who I aspire to be. I aspire to be the Dwayne Wades and the Allen Iversons, and instead of the Shaqs and the Charles Barkleys. You know what I mean? That be hating on people. You know what I mean? So I see it differently, bro. And my thing is like when I'm done, I do want to do some media stuff. You know what I mean? I do want to be on ESPN, talk ball, talk different things because I love sports. But it won't be in a hating way. It's going to be in a way that's to make the game better, to continue to increase the popularity of the game, and make it better for everybody.
Love it. Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing that a lot of guys struggle with is just because you're good doesn't make me bad.
Right.
And vice versa. Like we can both be good. We can both be great. We can both be goats or, whatever you want to call it. And I think it's just to your point, man, like that male ego is a motherfucker.
You ain't lying.
Simple, because I come across it, people at the gym, people on Twitter, whatever. And it's usually something of the remnants of my coach didn't like me or I got hurt. No, that's not what it was. You just weren't good. Period.
Right.
Like, it don't matter if you go to, the way sports is set up now, it used to be you had to go to like the big schools, the Power Fives to get noticed. Otherwise, you were kind of looked at as kind of like an also-ran or, just kind of like the underdog. But now you see Carson Wentz going from North Dakota State, number 2 overall. This Trey Lance guy is going to go real high as well. You see DeMarcus Ware came out of Troy, went number 11 overall in my draft. So you don't like it. So you don't need to go to the big name school anymore. And so many guys like to blame said things on that's why I didn't make it. No. You just weren't good enough to play in the big dance, or should I say the big show? Plain and simple. You really hate to just tell them flat out like that. Cause trust me, I've done it a few times on Twitter. You hate to do it because you don't really, really want to blow their ego like that. But whenever guys just go on and on, it's just, man, trust me, that's a story for a whole nother day and a whole nother conversation, man.
Funny thing that what we laugh at, like with me, Glover Quinn, Slay, what we laugh at is like we've had multiple people be like, you know what I mean? I've been there, I've done it, I played pro ball. And that's that trigger where you like, hold on, bro. You played pro ball? Well, us that play at the high level, we call it the league. We don't call it no pro ball. So you didn't make it to where we made it at. So you know what I mean? Like, so like we had that conversation all the time where like God, like, yeah, I played 7 years of pro ball. Now what pro ball you talk about? You talk about Arena League, you know what I mean? XFL, CFL, no disrespect to them, but that's not the league, bro.
Oh, no comparison. on
Right.
whether it's the league or not. But you're right. We as former athletes, we refer to it as the league. I would refer to, yeah, man, back when I first entered the league or back in my time in the league, you don't say pro ball. You don't, because that's such an ambiguous term. That could be, like you just said, playing Arena League, playing in the Canadian League, playing in the USFL or something like that is called. I mean, shit, playing in the XFL, that's considered pro ball, but it's
Right.
not quite the same as going against Russell Wilson or Aaron Rodgers, Calvin Johnson, Darius Slade, Quandre Diggs. Like that's vastly different. So
Exactly.
I tell you what, Diggs, I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna get you out of here. I got a few all facts, no cap, rapid fire questions. Just go ahead, say the first thing that pops into your mind.
Gotcha.
All right. Hardest running back to tackle.
Chris Carson.
Okay. Just signed him back.
It ran me over when I was in Detroit.
Okay. Interesting. That's interesting because, yeah, he does run hard. Wouldn't have been my first guess, but yeah, he does run hard. Definitely much deserved on you guys bringing him back.
Yes, sir.
Toughest quarterback to pick off.
Aaron Rodgers.
That's mine as well. That's mine. It's a tie between him and Phillip Rivers. That's one quarterback I was never able to pick off. I have no idea why.
I'm still pissed at myself. I should have picked Phil off 2 years ago, and Phil knows it because, like, of course, that's one of my brother's closest friends.
Yeah.
Texting my brother was like, "Jam, it's so weird playing against your brother this week, dude." Like, but I should have picked him off, and I misjudged the ball. Terrible play by me.
All right. Now, give me a straightforward answer. The real DBU is
At this moment, LSU. If you're going back 30 years, I'll say Texas. But right now, the way those guys put DBs out, I mean, what can you say? You can't go against those guys. I got none love and respect for all those guys there. I mean, we haven't put the DBs out that we should, but those guys are definitely DBU. But if you go back to history and knowing 30 years or 25 years or whatever, I mean, Texas, for me, like, we put out a lot of guys, you know what I mean? Like,
unmatched.
so, I mean, that's the truth.
All right. Last question. The best safety tandem in the league is
Jamal Adams and Quandre Diggs. Plain and simple.
I love that, man. I feel like that's the Legion of Boom, like reincarnated, because you had Cam Chancellor, hard hitting, strong safety, come across the middle, he's gonna whack you. And then you had ET, former alma mater of yours, in the back end, being like that sniper on the roof who's going to play center field and pick off anything that comes his way. And then what do you know? A few years later, same thing reincarnated, hard-hitting Jamal safety, just broke the record for sacks in a season for DBs, I believe it is. Yeah, and then you got you picking off guys on the roof, like I just said before, Sunday night game, picking off Jared Goff, free safety, that seam route. Man, I saw that great play once again. Man, this is definitely fun. QD, love having you on, man. I appreciate you coming on. This is definitely fun, and man, we got to do this again soon one day.
Yep, no doubt, man. Just give me a call, text me, whatever. I'm available, bro. I appreciate you having me on.
All good, man. And from one OG to a young pup, anything you need, I know you won't need anything because, you got so many vets that you can look up to. You got your older brother, Quinn, man. Say what's up to him whenever you get the first chance. But like I said, anything you need, you know how to get a hold of me, man. All you got to do is just go ahead and just say the word, man. Appreciate you.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you, bro.